YouTuber Moonsault Slayer at Volk Skimmer, and I'll put their profile on the screen right here, and of course, their link in the description field, so definitely check them out as well. Said,
in the middle of war, what side do you choose? Both factions are led by demons. Regardless, you're siding with the devil. Who do you choose? In today's video, I want to talk about and place every character where I think they would fall in Tekken 8. I do have a section here that says no alliances. This will be a column for people who won't pick any side, whether they're just that crazy to where they'll be on their own side, or I don't think the story will involve them, the main story. First off, I don't think Akuma will even be in Tekken 8, but he's not going to side with Jin or Kazuya. If he really had to pick, it probably would be Jin, because Kazumi hired him to kill Kazuya, not kill Jin. So if he really had to choose, Jin. But he's not choosing. Akuma's definitely not choosing. Mokujin is a very odd case, and I do want to make a video about him talking about how he is also attached to the Devil Team, but I don't feel like he would choose a side as well. This character is just so mysterious, and it's really very difficult to say what he actually would and would not do. I think Bruce will be in Tekken 8, and I think he will be on the side of Kazuya. But Kazuya is pure evil. If we've seen him in a trailer, he's literally destroying New York City, right? And Bruce isn't that evil like that. Yes, he lost his memory and he sort of became a bodyguard, but I don't know deep down in his soul if he would just stand by and watch Kazuya destroy all of New York. Harang will be Team Jin. This is, of course, Jin's friend. In Tekken 7, Harang sacrificed his eye for Jin, so that kind of shows how committed he is to helping him. King is a character that I want to put in no alliances because I feel like his story is separate from the Mishimas, but keeping in mind the non-canon comics that released after Tekken 7, he was shown to be protecting Jin. But something that I just noticed about those comics after looking at it again, Jin hired Yoshimitsu, he hired King, and he hired Paul Phoenix. They didn't willingly help him. He hired protection. They own the globe. That's what Michael Murray said about Kazuya. If you take that into account, they pretty much can buy anyone who's up for sale. Dragunov probably will be no alliances. In Tekken 6, it was specifically stated that Dragunov hates both Kazuya and Jin Kazama. If he could, he would take either one of them down as captives and take them back to Russia for experimentation. Ogre, no alliances, of course. Ogre will not side with anyone. This is the god of fighting. Ganryu, I feel like he also would not side with anyone. His friend was Heihachi, so I feel like maybe he would team up with Jin as revenge for Heihachi. But also too, this is in a very old comic that also is not canon, but he was protecting Kazuya at one point in time, so who knows if he will default back to that, because that's how it kind of worked when Heihachi is not in control. Everyone who's in the Mishima Zaibatsu, they just become loyal to Kazuya now. So we don't know if Ganryu will do that, if he will be like, okay, I guess I'm Kazuya's bodyguard now. Steve Fox, I believe he definitely will help out Jin, because Jin is kind of like the hero, the anti-hero, so Steve would help him. Asuka will help him. Both laws, I'm just gonna put one law just for the sake of not bloating this whole thing. Even though Paul Phoenix was hired as help, I feel like seeing how he was helping Jin in Tekken Bloodline, or he was helping him take down Ogre, I feel like that kind of story can repeat itself, right? See, that's the thing. Eddie hates Kazuya's guts. And I feel like if he had to pick a side, he probably would pick Team Jin, but I don't even know if this guy would side with Team Jin. I have a mystery third team here, and we'll get to this in just a second, but I feel like he wouldn't side with any of them. Nina was on the side of Jin at the start of Tekken 7. She was looking for him. At the end of Tekken 7, she said she'll just sit back and watch, so I don't know if she would sign up with him again, especially after trying to capture Jin. And she's definitely not going to Kazuya, because Kazuya, messed around with, the cryo sleeping and all that stuff. Anna retired from working with Kazuya. We don't know why. We just know she fell in love, and that was it. So I don't know if she would rejoin his side, or if she would even be able to. I feel like if she did rejoin the battle, it would either be on a mystery third team, or it would just be no allegiance, her kind of just doing her own thing. But I also feel like they can just throw her back on Team Kazuya just because. but I'm just gonna put her in no alliances. And also I'll put Nina in no alliances as well. Gigas is a monster created by G Corporation. Panda is going wherever Zhao Yu goes. Where is Zhao Yu, by the way? Wang, if Wang is alive, he may side with Jin, but at the same time, with Jin failing to take down Azel and Kazuya succeeding in gaining complete control, who knows if Wang would still have faith in him. Lars has faith, but who knows if Wang would still have that kind of faith. It's very difficult to say. Let's talk about Lita now. I feel like Lita, being the Prime Minister of Poland, she would be strong enough to create her own faction. She kind of represents the government of Tekken. Harada said they put her in the story and they made her prime minister for a very specific reason. And yes, we haven't seen that reason just yet, but I think it could be a big one. It could be. Considering that she is a prime minister, I figure all of the police or soldiers of the world would also side with her. So Raven, Master Raven. When you talk about Miguel, I feel like this guy is like perfect for her team. Oh, you hate Jin? Join us and help us take him down. But also I feel like maybe he could be swayed by Kazuya to join him, and because he really hates Jin. I don't know how much he hates Kazuya, but he hates Jin. So I feel like he could probably go either way, Team Kazuya or Team Lita. Shahid is another character that hates Kazuya's guts, and he would probably go Team Lita. Katarina probably go Team Lita because she doesn't like what's happening with Gigas and G Corporation. Lucky Chloe, she is like sponsored by G Corporation, so she's ride or die to the fullest. Zafina, if you guys saw the video that I did about Zafina, you guys would know that she is looking for Claudio, and I'm gonna put Claudio in this team question mark because this team question mark isn't specifically Team Lita. This question mark is just like a third faction that could emerge. Claudio, if he really wanted to, can organize a team. Lita can organize a team. Master Raven, we can see any one of these characters organize a team. And I'm just putting these characters here because these are the characters I feel like who would be willing to join a team. These characters right here would be against joining a team. That's kind of the difference. Fang is a character that would be against joining a team, but also I feel like Fang is a fighter. Fang loves the battle, but at the same time, I don't know if he's that evil to where he would just, sign up to participate in the destruction of all mankind. I don't think he would stand by and let that happen. He probably will want to fight Kazuya to test his true strength. Leroy Smith is another character who I feel would be on one of these alliances. He does have this connection with Jin where Jin broke his leg in Tekken Bloodline. Even though it's not canon, I feel like that would be made canon. It seems perfect, but at the same time, we don't know. But the thing about Leroy Smith, he got his leg broken by Jin, and then he saw all these crazy things Jin went on to go do. And also when you talk about the war taking place in New York City, which is where Leroy is from, he is definitely going to be, not happy with what's happening. Like in the background between Lars and Jack, we could see a statue of Leroy Smith. We could see his coffee shop. He's not going to be happy with either one of them tearing up his hometown like that, Bob probably would join, a unknown team. He got beat up by Brian. Where's Brian Fury actually? Brian Fury is a character I feel like who would be perfect joining Team Kazuya. One thing I want you guys to notice too is how small Kazuya's team is. Jin, his team can really stack on infinitely. Like we could put like Lei, we could put Master Raven, we could put so many characters on his team and just stack the odds. But Kazuya, he really is a character who has few connections, but the connections he does have is very, very powerful. I feel like Brian Fury would love to join the chaos and the destruction that Kazuya is bringing to the world. I kind of want to put Josie in the no alliances. Josie wants to be a part of Mishima Zaibatsu. That's her story actually. She wants to join the Mishima Zaibatsu. Whether or not she does, whether or not she becomes the soldier is a different story. But she does want to participate in the Mishima Zaibatsu. I'm gonna bring King up here. I feel like King would join a side. Kuma just wouldn't even be involved. Lily, I don't see her participating in the main story. But I think she does have connections to like the Mishima Zaibatsu. I think she hates it or she likes it, or I don't know, I don't see her joining the side though. She has her own things going on. Same thing with Eliza, she's not joining the side, she has her own things going on. JC, the female version of Julia, she definitely will be fighting for justice. Yeah, let me do that. Let me put the female version of Julia right there and then normal Julia right there. Alex is a creation of Team Kazuya. It says once he grows up, he will be one of the strongest living creatures on the planet. And considering that he showed up in like Tekken 2 canonically, and then Tekken 8 is like however many years later, this guy would definitely be a lot stronger. I don't think Armor King would join a side, but at the same time, I felt like in the end, like this is the thing. Kazuya is trying to bring upon the end of the world, and of course a lot of people would stand against him, but I'm talking about what will the developers do, deciding these characters' story. That's what I'm kind of focusing on, and I feel like they want to tie his story with that, because his story is really tied to Marduk, and they really have this story, this connection thing going on. Yoshimitsu, it's very difficult to say whose side he would be on. Of course, he has his own thing going with Kunimitsu. She is a mercenary for hire or something like that. In Tekken 7, before she started hunting Yoshimitsu, she was going undercover in the Mishima Zaibatsu school. So that at least tells us that she wouldn't be working with the Mishima Zaibatsu, because why are you going undercover in their school? And we don't know who put her up to that task. It simply says a mystery person, and that very well could be Kazuya. It's left ambiguous. For the story, she probably would go Team Kazuya, as in Yoshimitsu would go Team Jin. Betu-san, wherever he goes, wherever Haran goes. Combat, he goes wherever Violet goes. Fakumram is deployed as this weapon. In his win quotes, he says how many's left, and it's a question, and we don't know who that question is being posed to. We don't know what person is forcing him to fight all of these battles. How many people do I have to beat up until I am free? It's basically the full quote that he's saying, and we don't know who is controlling him. And I think it could be Kazuya, or it could become Kazuya. Jun Kazama, I've been very much delaying this because I would throw Jun Kazama in Jin's team, but the one thing about her is what Michael Murray said in the NorCal recap. He said she is doing his rage art on Jin. She's not healing him. And you could take that two ways. You could one, just say, okay, that's just them showing off the rage art and it's nothing to do with story. Or you could go the other route and say that it's 100% has to do with the story. And if that's the case, why is she destroying them? Why is she, attacking Jin? That's something we never even thought of. So for that reason, I have to put her in no alliances, because what we were told about her is just so much to understand. Angel is another character that I said who could be building their own team. I talked about this already, so I'll be very short, but some people think that Claudio works for Angel. Some people think that Jun Kazama is the human version of Angel. It's Angel kind of taking human form. So we really don't know what's happening with this character either, but this character could either be building a team, or they can go in and get the job done by themselves. They're just that powerful, right? So I'm just gonna put no alliances as well. Jack would also go to the Mishima G Corporation. I believe this guy is created by the G Corporation. If correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's created by G Corporation. This is pretty much my list here. This is how I think it would all go down. You would have the people who's shown to be with Kazuya, or maybe he would pick up some new muscle like Brian Fury, Kazumi, Fakumram. But Jin, he already has kind of a established team, and then even the people who is a part of his established team, even they have allies. And then in a team question mark, like I said, any one of these characters can step up and create their own team, and once someone does that, like Lita or Claudio or Leroy Smith, who knows how many people will be willing to join them and fight against the Mishima Zaibatsu. Let me know what you guys think down below. I just want to sink some time into this and sort of just revisit the topic, because not only has a lot of time passed, but I learned so much about the characters and how they all interact with one another. And I think as we get into Tekken 8 and we get more trailers, we may see some of these interactions become canon and become true. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.